this money that they have sitting, that is the bait. Because if you want to get that money back, then you're going to have to file a 1040 form. When you file the 1040 form, you're on the hook automatically. Boom. It's not written in the fine print. It's very, very difficult to find the fine print and then decode it, because it is very, again, just like any other legal spell casting, as I call it, because that's really what a lot of this legal language is a bunch of spell casting designed to make it very hard for the average person to really understand. What did that actually say?
Right.
So what they've actually done, though, is they've taken your money, and if you want to get it back, you file the 1040 form. Well, in that 1040 form, you are now on the hook, and it's renewing until you understand how to extract yourself from the whole mess. There's been several different people, a lot of people have tried different means, and you have to educate yourself very, very much. But what is very important to note is that, again, going back to our court system and what was very plainly put in that document that I read from National Liberty Alliance this morning, these courts, what they did was when they incorporated our government, they took our common law and mixed it with equity law.
Oh.
And they put it together, and now it's called civil law. Okay? And the problem is, we, the people, we, the persons, the individuals, we are held to common law. That's God's law. Where equity law is commercial law, business law. It's the law of the city, the law of the state. All right? And so when they did that, they set up courts of equity. That is one reason why there is not a single court in this country that does not have a tax ID number. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Every courtroom in this country has a tax ID number. What would be the good reason for having a tax ID number? They're there to fleece you.
Yeah, that opens their doorway to be able to receive money.
And for the government, for the IRS. Because if you have a tax ID number, that's how they know how much money. Their court fleecing system is fleecing from the American people who are subjected to these equity law courts or civil law courts. And it's one reason why the pushback against common law courts. Because once you have common law courts, you actually now have a court system that is designed to handle person-to-person issues.
So since you're really fluent in this, much more than I am, if from the time of the founding fathers to the point at which a whole lot of this structure began to become built, what was the period of years? And was it 100 years? Was it, around the turn of the century? When did a lot of this start to come about? Or was the beginnings of the structure there even very early on after the founding documents?
Well, as you know, there were several attempts by the central banks to get their meat hooks into the United States.
Yeah.
And, Andrew Jackson was one that pushed back against it, and they vilified him horribly. He might not have been the greatest man alive or whatever. You don't know, because the bankers have been the ones to manipulate his legacy moving forward.
Based on that, he stood in the way of that, at least.
He did. And that's one reason why his portrait is in the office of POTUS 45.
Yep.
But that's all part of this Babylonian, Luciferian money system that is out there, that has been rolling along and inching, ever so closer to total world domination. Is kind of the bottom line. And when you go back in the history, where are all your corporations? They come from the Holy See, that's SEE, which is out of the Vatican. The Vatican is basically where all corporations are given their authority, basically. And then they set up the triangle, which was Vatican, London, and Washington, D.C. London being the financial center, the Vatican being the legal and or witchcraft center, whatever which way you kind of want to look at it. And then the United States was the business and the military, the hammer, so to speak, in that triad.
Would it be too much of a stretch to conceive that due to with the growth and expansion of the federal government, that it was the bankers, the banksters, or the corporations that somehow behind the scenes were promoting and perpetuating and extending that growth of the federal government? Because at the beginning, it wasn't like that. Originally, the purpose of the federal government was to organize the states and provide for the national defense. Mm-hmm. It was pretty simple then. But what caused this growth? And of course, then once it grew more, I know I got a multi-level question here. As it grew, then there's this whole dependence of the states on the federal government for funding for this and that, and complying with federal regulations by authorities and boards that are appointed, not elected. Mm-hmm. So, I guess I threw a whole lot of things at you there.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the 10th Amendment, I had it on the tip of my tongue. What's the 10th? What's the name of the 10th Amendment? Commerce Clause.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And the regulation of the business activities between the states. They came in and they totally misrepresented what the intention of the 10th Amendment was. And they've been using the media ever since in order to basically sell a lie as to what the real intent of the 10th Amendment and the commercial clause was all about. And it wasn't to regulate the business between the states, but they misrepresented that. So everybody thinks that if you're doing any business between myself here in Washington and somebody over in Idaho, that now it becomes an issue of the federal government.
Interstate commerce.
Interstate commerce, yes. And they have totally represented that, and it's through that they started going in and moving in and gaining control in these corporations, and then as the corporations. That also allowed for them to pick winners and losers in the corporations, all right. And then when they were allowed, when they could pick the winners and the losers, now the corporations started to grow, and you started to see the mega corporations starting to have more and more influence over the government than the government having influence over the corporations,
right?
And and then we had look at DARPA. Okay, we wouldn't be sitting here doing what we are doing right now and looking at social media, Facebook, Twitter, all of these things, all of this technology that we are dealing with right now that are being used to, beat us down and to collect information on us, were all projects that were started by DARPA. And then, and DARPA being a quasi-private or government, what do they call them? NGOs, non-governmental agency, or NGA, or NGO, non-government organization, or something like that.
Yes.
Whatever they call it. You have these NGOs, okay, but they are basically tied it to hip to our government, including grants and tons of money that comes out of the deficit that has been building up against the American citizen. And there's just so many different ways. They have been cashing in on us for a very long time with bonds and all different sorts of ways that they have behind the scenes to tap into, you've heard the term straw man. So anyway, that's kind of how this whole picture works. Okay, but now, let's get to today, and because we only got about just a little less than 10 or a little over 10 minutes left, and I think I can kind of wrap this up. So what we have now is this corporation that is in debt up to its eyeballs to the Federal Reserve, or supposedly. And they are passing that debt on to the American people, saying, well, you have these $27 trillion that you owe the Federal Reserve. Well, first off, that done in fraud is not valid. Any law that's passed in fraud is invalid. Everything that they have done ever since they incorporated our government is invalid, because what they did was they were usurping the primary, the top law, that is we the people. Our Constitution starts out with we the people. That is an unalienable rights. That means you cannot do anything to those rights. Nobody has the authority to, because we recognize that those come from God. God is above everything. You can't usurp God. Doesn't work out.
Right.
Like that. Pisses him off. All right. So anything that they have done that is in violation of the original de jure Constitution, as a lot of people like to call it, is invalid. So everything that they have done since 1871 is invalid, or 1879. I think it's 1879. Anyway, ever since the Organic Act. Anything that does not fall into compliance with the Constitution is invalid. It never was valid. And once you go there, it unravels so much of all of this. So now, let's bring it all the way forward. If we believe what President Trump has been trying to do ever since he came into office was to basically get rid of the Organic Act and any contracts that Organic Act implied that the United States was part of, and then basically shut down the corporation, or take control of that corporation,
at least, yeah,
and restrict its ability to do anything other than what would be the equity business of the country.
Yep.
Okay, which would be the international trade, maritime law, and those kinds of things. But as having a jurisdiction in any of the 50 states, not going to happen. It has no jurisdiction. The jurisdiction that the federal government has is all written into the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And once he does that, these people who have been elected and are serving off in our government right now, they will no longer be thought of as officers of the corporation. They will actually go back and start being the representatives of the people, instead of an officer carrying out the best interest of the corporation. Which, if you look at what they've been doing, that's exactly what they've been doing. They've been looking out in the best interest of the corporation without any regard to the people that government is supposed to be serving. They're acting as, we might as well just put Sears and Roebuck sign in front of Congress, okay? Because at that point, employees of Sears and Roebuck are looked as assets of the corporation, and that's what we're looked at as too, as assets to a corporation.
It's not so hard to understand their behavior if we take a look at them as once they're sworn into whatever office they're holding, that they are oriented to being officers of the corporation as opposed to representatives of the people. It's no wonder they behave the way they do.
It answers so many questions. The age-old question, what about shall not be infringed do you not understand? Well, if you're a corporation, you just say,
Right.
Because the board of directors can change the bylaws anytime they want. They just get together and say, we're going to change the bylaws. But they couldn't be that outright about it until they were ready to slam the door shut on us. They had to wait until the last minute. So that was the slow incremental encroachment. Especially we can, the Second Amendment is probably the easiest but best example to show the encroachment on one of our unalienable rights, and that is the right to defend ourselves and to keep and bear arms. And they have just slowly, been nibbling away at it, sometimes taking big chunks like the Firearms Act of 1939 and the National Firearms Act, and then subsequently, Clinton came in and did the AR-15 ban, which had a sunset on it, and George W. Bush allowed that sunset to take effect, and we got our AR-15s back. And then every attempt since then to go after our semi-automatic firearms, they just keep going away at it, That is probably one of the most saving graces of this beautiful document we have as the Constitution and the Bill of Rights is our free speech, 1 and 2. 2 guarantees 1. And the fact that this country has so many fire. Can you imagine what would have happened if everybody there was carrying today?
Wow.
You think there'd been a lot more politeness going on, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But in D.C., in this federal enclave of the corporation, they have effectively told you don't have the right to keep and bear arms unless you jump through this hoop, that hoop, and whatever hoop, and pay your homage to this corporate officer or that corporate officer or this corporate office or that corporate office, and and grease the palms of certain people so you can get it through faster than Joe Schmuck, the Schmuck man, So, yeah. So what's going to happen is the corporation is bankrupt. There's nothing left. The only thing left to do is be for the creditors, which are the American people, to seize their assets, which include all of the corporations that have profited off of this scam. If you go back and read one of the original executive orders that President Trump signed, I think it was in January of 2017. He signed an executive order basically saying as much. If you were involved in any of this crap, we're going to take your shit. Bottom line.
Yep, I remember that.
Okay. And so what's going to happen is the American people are going to become the proud owners of a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of assets, and it's going to belong to we, the people. And then over the next several years, what will happen is the corporation, all of these officers of the corporation will be arrested for their malfeasance, for their crimes. And if that corporation remains in place, it will have a very, very minor role in our governmental process. But our actual House of Representatives and the Senate and those offices which are authorized by the original Constitution. By the way, the last legal amendment to the Constitution was the 16th Amendment. Anything after the 16th Amendment is pretty much null and void unless it fully, completely complies with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. If it's constitutional, it may stand, but it might have to be reinstituted as a new one. So that means that the next amendment to the Constitution, or wait, no, I don't believe it's the 12th Amendment. I've got it wrong. Actually, the last president who operated before it became a corporation was Lincoln. Lincoln was our 16th president. So if this all goes into effect, the actual real president, the next president of the United States, as it was originally constituted, will be the 17th president of the United States.
Interesting. The 12th Amendment refers to electors and states and voting, president and vice president.
So, yeah, there's a lot of things. So my theory is President Trump is going to reseat our Congress with representatives who are actually serving in their office, not as officers of the corporation, but as representatives of the people. And any of these schmucks that are still sitting in the corporate offices, well, I hope they have a flashlight, because the lights are going to get turned out on that corporation, and they're going to be sitting in a dusty old office, even if they have a desk left, because we've seized that as well. We've seized their building. We're going to seize their buildings. We're going to seize their desks. We're going to seize their paper clips, everything. It's all going to become that of the American people.
Would you term the corporation to currently be insolvent or just in a huge amount of debt? And if this is restructured, who is going to be carrying that debt? Right now, it's passed on to us.
In my opinion, if the bank comes to you and says, "Oh, wait, we're going to assess this against you," and you can prove that it's an unlawful or a fraudulent debt, you don't owe it at all.
Okay.
And that's, and I'm no legal scholar or anything, but my simple little mind, and I mean that honestly, because I don't know these kind of things, but it just logically, to me, Indigo, you can't. It's not a lawful debt. It's as a matter of fact, they place that debt on something that doesn't exist, and that is your straw man, which they created.
Right. That's right. They placed it on the straw man, not on you, the human being.
Correct. And then they hoodwinked us into believing, until people were educated about it, and a lot of people aren't. That's another one of those tin hat things,
Right.
Oh, your name in all cap letters. Oh, that's just so silly. You didn't. No, it doesn't mean anything.
But they convinced us that we have to be accountable for the straw man's debt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If they were to send you an invoice for that money with your name, capital I, small n, small d, small I, small g, small o, there would be some validity to it, but they won't. They send it to you in your corporate identifier, which is your name in all caps.
All caps.
However, you cannot sign your name that with who you are, how you identify yourself. You cannot sign your name in all capital letters. you start out with a big capital letter and a lot of small letters, and you cannot, in script, make your signature. So the representation that's on your pay, on your most likely, if you do checks, they're probably on your check. If your name's on there, it's in all capital letters. On your driver's license, it's all capital letters. Any document that you get, look at your insurance policy. It has your name in all capital letters. If you just go through all of your documents and see how many documents that you get from any number of different companies and especially the government, they all have your name in capital letters.
You're right. I've heard this before, and I've looked at those things, and that is exactly the way they're printed. Mm-hmm. Every taxpayer straw man in this country right now, I'm looking at the debt clock right now. The debt per taxpayer, straw person, quote unquote, is $222,000 per taxpayer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and you're aware of the signature line on your check, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and you know what it says, right? Because it's in microprint.
Oh, yeah.
Authorized signature. Well, who authorized that signature?
At some point, I did. At some point, we did.
Well, because why does it have to be printed on the check? And why did they have to put the little MP next to the line to notify you that there's microprint down there?
Well, is there something about they want you to connect your signature to your name in capital letters? They want them connected together.
Ding, ding. Right. Genius arriving. No, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. It's all different ways of getting you to connect yourself to their scam, and they're gonna. That's why tax court is an equity court. It is a kangaroo court designed to do nothing but tell you you have no basis, why you're there, and they're going to slam you down anyway. Here's your bill. You got to love the commercials that are out there that go, it's tax time again, and you don't want to run up against the toughest collection agency known to man, the IRS. So come on down to H&R Block, and we'll make sure everything is good. And if you get audited, we'll go to the meeting with you. You ever heard those commercials?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what is that commercial? That commercial is designed to scare the living crap out of you. You comply. You don't. I mean, that's a fear tactic. Fear the IRS.
Once again, fear and compliance, and coercing people into buying into it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Think twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, dude, we've managed to get all the way to 2:00, which means if he got around the Beltway there and didn't get caught up in anything, I have a feeling there's an 18-wheeler, just idling out in the parking lot here, ready to jump in here. I think
that would be Mr. Rooster.
Yes, it would. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing pretty good. Now, considering everybody has been on channel all day, I think we all got our fix for January 6th.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Well, Rooster, how's your 2021 going so far for you?
Well, as expected, I would say. You and kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. It's just I was waiting for yesterday, just like get it over with. I know what's going to happen, and now it's time to. All right, let's see what this epic response President Trump has up his sleeve is going to be.
I think at this point, Rooster, it is going to be epic.
So have we confirmed really that POTUS took Air Force One out to Texas?
There was an EA-6B, which is the Doomsday plane, went out to Texas. It was not squawking Air Force One. It was squawking Nighthawk 76.
Okay. That's one thing I was trying to figure out. Was that just somebody trying to pull a deep fake on us to think that POTUS has went to Texas, or if it's...
Well, he may have been, but he does. It doesn't have to be designated Air Force One. We've seen that before. Okay. When they did the Q0 flight, that was going out to when he flew out to Louisville. I always have to think of the Louisville Sluggers. So that's how I remember that one. But when he went to Louisville, they took off as Air Force One and changed the call sign to Q0 shortly after takeoff. And that's where we ended up pretty much verifying Q+. Remember that?
Yeah.
So, well, sir, I have had a very, very long day with a few hours of sleep this evening here. And it's going to start again here in a couple of hours. So, Indigo, thank you, my man. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us, man.
It was awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. And Salty, are you still there? It looks like you just unmuted there.
Yeah. I was kind of in the background listening in.
All right.
I snoozed a little bit.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Gosh, it's such a long day. I think I'm going to go crawl in bed.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so Indigo, man, thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. Salty, you as well. Appreciate it. Yep. Chris, she bagged it, and Sleepwalker bagged it, but we certainly appreciate both of those guys hanging out with us as well. And y'all just zip up your flight suits and or your space suits and hit your jetpacks, because we're going to turn it over to Rooster here, and we'll catch we'll fire up the TR6B on the next hyperdrive. I'm kind of tired. I'm going to go to bed. So good night, everybody. God bless, and take care.
All right. Good night, y'all.
And it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And I tell you what, she ain't even in the house yet. So, no, it's going to be good, guys. It's going to be good. God bless you all. Good night.
Night.
All right. Well, let me start with videos here, and we'll be back here in a minute. I gotta find my coffee. Make sure I get that clicked. All right, here we go.
Oh, sing and you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly revealed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars on the sentencing the frequency. It's true, it's marching, glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. It's true, it's marching on. In the beauty of the lilies, Christ was born across the sea, with all glory in his bosom that transfigures you and me. As he died to make men holy, let us die to make men free, while God is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. It's true, it's marching on. All right. Good morning, everybody. Yeah. Think everybody now is at adequate time to fix their coffee, grab their biscuit, bagel, whatever you like to have in the morning. Yeah, it is a brand new day. All right, let me see. Before everybody went and ran off, we got somebody dropped an article from it's a couple of hours old. It's the Gateway Pundit's take on the Trump statement. Let's see. President Donald Trump's issued a statement responding to the electoral certification through White House Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino, as he is currently suspended from Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Yeah. Woe be to those guys. I think it's going to be interesting here. 13 days until the 20th. And I believe it was one of the lawyers said that this would not be done till the 20th. So
Trump said, well, he totally disagrees with the results. There will be a peaceful transfer of power. Lie. He said peaceful transfer, not of power. He did not concede. The statement reads as follows. Even though I totally disagree with the outcome of the election and the facts bear me out, nevertheless, there will be orderly transition on the 20th. I've always said we continue our fight to ensure that only legal votes were counted. While this represents the end of the greatest first term in presidential history, it's only the beginning of our fight to make America great again. Traitor Mike Pence certified the election results at 3:40 a.m. We'll get pundits on our side with that. Yeah, it's let's see, anything else on Gateway while I'm here? Get all these ads out of here. Yeah, that's old news. It couldn't help to a finer fella, I tell you. Twitter suspend Lynn Wood after Patriots stormed the Capitol in protest. Let's see. So Trump banned Pence's chief of staff at the White House, not allowed on the grounds. Yep. And it's interesting. They're saying through facial recognition, they already have most of the Antifa people tagged. As much as I like to know that scares the crap out of me. They can do that so fast. I mean, that is not something I want to know of. Let's see. Let's go to the Donald and see Donald.win. Let's see what these guys are talking about. Yes, they got freaking Cloudflare. Let's see. All right, this is from Shadowman 3001, who is one of the. Don't know if he's the main moderator, if he's one of the mods. This is the statement that the Donald put out. The Donald will continue as it always has to follow President Trump's lead. President Trump did not order violence. If we're being honest, there wasn't a lot of violence in D.C. today outside the cops shooting an unarmed woman. That said, the internet is actually glowing right now with people that want us gone, and we'd rather not let them achieve that. We could celebrate, condemn, discuss what's happened today, but this isn't the place to be organized and calling directly for violence of any sort. Places to do that are easy to find. I know this isn't what you want to hear, but if I'm being honest, it's not exactly what I want to say. We're at a crossroads where we either continue to follow the president's lead, as we always done, or decide we know best. If you remember Alabama, that didn't work out so well last time. Something big did happen today. A very small group of people made a very large message. Today was a good reminder to our leaders and to us. This isn't the end, it's the beginning. A woman. Oh, God. Oh, have y'all seen the amen and a women memes? He's tying it to Michelle Obama and First Lady Melania Trump. Let's see. Canadian Trumps stealing my top post to post this at NBC News 38 minutes ago. White House Majority Whip Clyburn. I faced violent hatred before. I was not deterred then. I will not be deterred now. Tonight, Congress will continue the business of certifying electoral college votes. So what do you want us to do? Just suddenly I'll pause and wait. You enter that building and then we're told to stand down by your president. You will be unfortunately arrested in some length of time or another. Thus, the people most willing to fight the steal and fight tyranny will not be captured without a fight once they return home. Welcome to Canada, boyos. Oh, yeah. I've said it once. I'll say it again. This is Richter's personal opinion. It is not the opinion of the Patriot Soapbox. But y'all should have enough common sense now to not go in the damn Capitol building. Get on the steps. Get out in the yard. That's fine. Oh, y'all went inside the Capitol building. Woe be to y'all. Y'all know Deep State's going to make y'all afraid for y'all. Boating accident says, I think the mob's been threatened to shut down. Some other people are getting the vibe. Let's see, this is from Doggo's, another one of the mods. The mods are not compromised. Mods are continuing to fight against. Well, who aren't we fighting against? What do you want us to try to lead a heaven revolution directed against President Trump's orders from a forum on the internet, which ends up being the site shut down in a matter of days and all of us sent to the gulag? We're between a rock and a hard place. Free speech always. .win was built to provide a free speech platform for all communities and all legal speech. Progress has been made on that front. Now our hosts have jumped on this opportunity to try to shut us down. Please continue the two routes. Let free speech run wild for a few more hours and soon after cease to exist, or accept that a public-facing website isn't the best place for some discussions. They have 21 hours. This update from Doggo. As always, there's the Donald.xyz, the Donald.1, the Donald.space. Update, no, they won't be shutting down in 21 hours, but one of our hosts has given us that time frame to correct the situation, and the host is going to shut them down. This situation specifically isn't the most important thing, but it could lead to our hosts taking the same, other hosts taking the same steps. So it looks like they have some glowworms at the Donald trying to cause problems. All right. Let's check out this one. This has got the conspiracy tag on it. The POTUS just bug out to Texas with the Secretary of Defense to watch the treason unfold. Linwood was right about Pitts. And so we got this big old graphic here. If it would only let me, let's see, now can I zoom in on it? Yes. Let me see. Where can be start? All right, here is Linwood on Parler. Please read the message below carefully. We have one president at a time. Our president is Donald J. Trump. When President Trump speaks, listen carefully. So let's start here at the beginning. And there's the Air Force One hangar. And there's the runway.
Looks like the ADW went from Camp Springs, Maryland at 4:49 p.m. yesterday. It landed at DYS in Abilene at 6:58 Central, which would be 7:58 Eastern. But notice the flight path. You would think they would have went, beeline straight. And it looked like they took their time to go around Arkansas for some reason. Why would they make a dog leg around Arkansas? Y'all think Hillary got some missile platforms out there? The Walmart family may have some platforms out there. But it comes here, it makes the turn goes up. Up toward Kansas City, but not all the way there. And then goes down over Tulsa. That's a weird flight path. Ah, crap, it's close to screen. Hang on, let me get back up. Yeah, bear with me for a second. And let me get the share back going. All right. Yeah. That's weird. All right. This little tag is talking about the Night Watch planes. The NAACP aircraft originally used the static call sign Silver Dollar. This call sign faded with some use when daily call signs were put in use for the president boards to E4. Its call sign comes to E1. The E4B also serves as the Secretary of Defense's preferred means of transportation when traveling outside the U.S. So, yeah. Let's see some of the comments. Pop more popcorn. This is not a casual plane flight. All he had to do was secure POTUS in the White House. He would have been totally safe. No, he's bunkering down for the possible real deal. TikTok, I know, but still, what the hell else can be at this point? Yeah, so see if there's anything else. Oh, they got to post a cat turd in here from yesterday at 7:50 p.m. Today, the Republican Party lost 70% of their voters. They're too arrogant, stupid now to touch to realize it. King Swing said, voters, where we're going, we don't need voters. Oh, man. Hey, POTUS account's been locked by Twitter.
Ooh, this closed TV, January 6th, 4:55 p.m. Acting Secretary of Defense confirms it was Mike Pence, not President Trump, who authorized deployment of the National Guard. Oh, I didn't know that. Last time I heard anything on the National Guard, I knew they were reporting that it was Georgia National Guard that was sent up there. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Brian Kemp, he'd had to make that call, that traitorous bastard. Yeah, I'm getting fired up. So, yeah. Let's see. Matt Gaetz is going out swinging. See if there's anything on there. So it's going to be interesting. Let's see. Trump didn't make a lot of friends in politics, but he made a bunch in the military. Yeah, that's a great picture from I don't know, that's got to be Army Navy game. It's going to be a wild few days. And if the usual is occurring, I'm pretty sure POTUS is getting done with breakfast and All right. Looks like I need to go to Twitter. Code Monkey's got something going on about the way Pence massaged the rules. Let me flip to Twitter real quick. Let me drop the share real quick. All right. Looks like some new people are in YouTube. Angela Krause out there with the wrench doing the job. Judith Williams, Dusty Rose, vote Justin out. Mark B. Weed Extreme, the hills shaking in the biblical terms. Vote Justin out, you guys. XYZ 99. 5x5, Demo. I think you got my message. See, D-Live, what are y'all guys doing real quick? Gavin Judd pitched so much on the fence he has splinters. Well, I think he is officially put the fence post up his backside there, Gavin. Keen skid, too much dead air. Rooster, keep talking so we know D-Live didn't crash again. I'm trying, you guys.
Texas would see we need to use military from Mexico. My brain hurts. Yeah, Peaches, my brain does hurt a little bit too. Let's see. Morning, Brown Eyes. DWG Command Sanchez. Good morning. Smokey Randy, you need a key bowl if you want to go out swinging. Royce Boyce, good morning. JCD, hey you guys. Nana B, good morning. DS Kincaid, 12 hours on Twitter, 24 on Facebook. Yeah. Don't be surprised if they just go ahead and just strike the accounts. Sanchez, bro, we saw Pepe on the Capitol steps. Sanchez, they said they found a bomb. That reminds me, we need to look into that. Apparently, they reportedly found pipe bombs at the RNC headquarters and the DNC headquarters. We need to verify that. I don't even think it got brought up on the channel because of all the crap that was going on. Yeah, Patriot Jet prayers, please, for everybody in the family. Yeah. Hey, Deborah W., beware the fake accounts out there. There are gonna be some fake accounts getting popped up. And I hate to say this. I think one of the people that resigned yesterday was the social media manager for President Trump. So I wouldn't be surprised when his accounts come back that we might need to verify that real Donald Trump is Donald Trump still. You know, I will watch that real quick, real close. And the POTUS account, I wouldn't trust that. POTUS Trump is now on Parler, wants to hear directly from us. Okay. Well, I guess that'll give me a reason to use Parler again. I know everybody doesn't. A little squeamish about it, but I guess I'll have to use it. See what you guys talking about here. The only thing I could think of what I would love to see, everybody's seen the flag of Trump on the black tank with the gold treads. I think if President Trump rolls out of the base in Texas on a tank, yeah, that'd be awesome to see. Oh, great. Not cold. Good morning. All right. Yeah, little galaxy. I would not be surprised that they're going to have their fake POTUS account. All right. Let me get Twitter brought up. Looks like Gates and Graham are they're trending. Ain't that special? Yes, and let's see here. What we got? John Solomon with Just the News. Putting up the moment protesters storm the Capitol building. Yeah, not interesting. Okay, U.S. Senate floor is up.
Whoa! Next meeting of the Senate's going to be Friday. Where are they going today? Let's see, calendar. Senate periodical, Senate PPG account. The Senate will convene for pro forma sessions only on the following dates, times: Friday at 10, Tuesday the 12th at 12:30, Friday the 15th at 10. The next period of morning business is Tuesday the 19th. Also, is the Senate heading for the hills? Let me copy and paste it to you guys. So yeah, read it and weep, everybody. Looks like the Senate may be heading for the hills. Let me see if I can find.